Hi everyone. I wanted to welcome you to Pages of Wine, a new mini-series on my YouTube channel. So without any further ado, let's pour some wine. So if you guys are curious about what I'm drinking it's from Lingua Franca. It's actually a Pinot Noir, and it's from the Willamette Valley of Oregon. If you like Pinot Noir, this one's a good one. And I think it's on a lower price point. I forgot to look it up before we got started, but I think it's in that $20 to $30 range. So for those of you who might not know me, my name is Ashley, and my husband and I are dairy farmers in rural Michigan. And I'm a mom to two little girls, a 4-year-old and an 18-month-old. And I don't have a lot of spare time, but some of the things that I love to do in my spare time is I love to read, I love to run, I love to do yoga, and I love to drink wine and learn about wine. So I've kind of gone on this journey. And for those of you who are maybe watching this video maybe years or months in the future, it's actually in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So everybody's there's nothing extra to do right now outside of your house. So luckily on our farm, we're still working. We're considered essential employees, but I've been reading a lot more than normal. And I've been trying to read more over the last couple of years. So if you're a busy person, whether you're an entrepreneur like me or you're a parent, your time is limited. That totally means that you don't have a lot of time to rifle through all of these books. Even if you like to read, you don't have the time to read them all. So my thought was with this mini series was to share with you the things that I've really enjoyed reading. And I hope that then I can take some of the guesswork out and show you something that you end up really loving the way that I love and have loved to read. So every episode, I hope to have 2 book suggestions for you, a nonfiction and a fiction is my idea, and I do have one of each for this episode. So this is the second time I'm recording this video today because I did my first episode this morning and my computer ate the video off my GoPro. So I am back on my phone. So the video quality is probably gonna be pretty poor if you like to watch videos on big screens. So I apologize for that. I have some issues that I need to upgrade my GoPro, to be really honest with you. So because the sound quality isn't there for vlogging. So I wanna work on that. So for now, we'll do the phone videos. But my hope is to get a much higher quality camera here soon. So this morning I had this other book, but I actually lent it to my grandma. So I want to start with, and I will hopefully put it up here by my head. My first book suggestion is fiction, and it's This Tender Land by William Kent Kruger. So in 2019, all the rage was Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. And I read that book and I liked it, but I didn't love it. I don't know if it's because it really got built up in my head because all of my friends just loved that book. They said it was like their favorite book that they've read ever or in a long time. So I had it really built up in my head. And when I read it, I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was that good. And when you go through online, This Tender Land is often compared to Where the Crawdads Sing. If you liked Where the Crawdads Sing, they point you to this tender land. And I was kind of skeptical, but my sister actually got it from the Book of the Month Club, and she loved it, and so she told me, you need to read this book. And I have to say I was not disappointed. Basically, this tender land, what it is it's about 4 kids. They're all in American Indian boarding school during the Depression. So those schools were horrible. They treated kids terribly. And so this journey is about these 4 kids who all run away from the boarding school. And they're in Minnesota. They start out on a river that takes them to the Mississippi as they're running away from the authorities and the people at the school. And their goal is to get to St. Louis via the Mississippi River, because 2 of the boys who are brothers, they believe that they have an aunt there that they visited years and years ago. So they're on this adventure and this journey, and in the process they learn about themselves. They meet all of these people who, some of them help them, some of them don't, and it's a beautiful story. The author has this wonderful way of writing. It's 444 pages, but I could have read 400 more pages. It was so amazing and beautiful. Loved it. Loved every page of it. So I really think, I keep talking about that book with everybody, with all kinds of friends. So I highly recommend This Tender Land by William Kent Kruger. Go get it for yourself or borrow it from your library, something. You won't regret it. And so my other book, this one I do actually have. My nonfiction choice is Wine for Normal People. It's by Elizabeth Snyder. She's a certified, it says right here on the front, certified sommelier, certified specialist of wine, MBA, normal person. And so Elizabeth Snyder has a really popular podcast by the same name, Wine for Normal People. I'm an avid listener to it. I love it. I enjoy it. And one of the things that I love about it is she doesn't talk to you like you're stupid, but she also doesn't act like a snobby wine person, because the reality is wine can be so daunting and overwhelming if you want to learn more about it. And so she basically took her podcast and put it in a beginner's guide book. And on the front it says, a guide for real people who like wine but not the snobbery that goes with it. So it's really great. So I am still in the process of reading this. I think I'm in the 3rd chapter, but I'm loving it. I think it's so great. If you have an interest in wine, this is a really great book. Elizabeth's writing style is very conversational. She has a really easy way to explain these things. She's really funny. She makes all kinds of jokes, but she also, she isn't afraid to say, listen, I think this is really dumb. Or, you know, this may seem really dumb, like some of the terminology to describe wine, but this is why you need to know it. And then, you know, she teaches you how to use the words and use them properly. So it's really great. And I'm going to show you guys some of the pages in here, because I love how she did it. So like, this is the table of contents. Like the graphics in this book and the photos in this book are just stunning. They're lovely. So then like each chapter has these big chapter titles with lovely photos in it. You can really tell that Elizabeth put a lot of work into this. So just the aesthetics of it, it's a beautiful book. But then the thing I like about it is you're reading this chapter and you think, you know, or all these chapters, and you're like, wow, there's so much to learn here. So a lot of it, the important stuff, she puts into charts. So this is at the end of chapter 1, and it's all about the words and the terminology that they use with wine. And so she puts it into a chart so that, you know, after you read this chapter and you're drinking a glass of wine, you can go through and she has reminders how to use it. Okay, so, you know, so we're talking about acidity in wine, and she helps you use it. So the book has all kinds of charts and stuff all over it, and she covers all different kinds of topics. Everything from pairing with food to regions to wine traveling tips. So traveling with wine, how to ship wine. And then she has these big charts in the back. White wine vocabulary, red wine vocabulary. She has all kinds of little charts in here to help you use the information that she's throwing at you. In the middle of chapters, she does these little Q&A boxes. So she's been a sommelier for 15 years in the wine industry. And so she takes her questions that she gets a lot, puts them into the chapters in the corresponding place in what you're discussing, and then she answers it in the middle of the chapter. So everything flows really nicely. It totally makes sense. It's really logical. You can tell that she put a ton of work into this book. It's really lovely. If you're into wine, I highly recommend it. I think it's a great book. I've been really enjoying it, and I can't wait to finish it. So yeah, I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe, please like, please share with somebody that you think might really like these Pages of Wine episodes. And please share with me what you're reading right now. I would love to know what you're reading and loving right now. So without any further ado, cheers.